Hello, and welcome to Season of War. I hope you're having a good evening. I got called out in the comments already, and by Ridge before we went live for the classic intro, and I feel attacked, so I had to change it up. And I hated it as much as everyone else did. But hello, good evening. My name's Jordan. I'm joined by Ridge, unsurprisingly. And we have a special guest joining us tonight. Miles, I'll let you say hello.
Hi. Actually, I wrote like a note. I was my notes for this show. I was like, at one point I need to say like who the hell I am, because I'm just like probably out of nowhere for most of you. So anyway, hi, I'm Miles, and it's really nice to be on the stream with Jordan and Ridge. So thanks for having me, guys.
Miles.
Yeah. So I'll give you a real quick sentence for me. So I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, not from Boston. But yeah, I play a lot of Sigmar, and I'm helping host the what we're going to talk about tonight. And I've got all the deets. So
nice, very important. I'm sure you've been getting grilled with lots of questions as things have been getting organized.
Yeah. Honestly, like not as many questions as like I expect we should be getting, which I feel like after this show maybe we will start getting like a barrage of all of the questions, and I'm kind of fine with that. Yeah. So.
They're just going to Corey. I didn't even realize I've sent him a couple, but
yeah. Which, by the way, I know there's probably some people on the stream that are like missing Corey tonight, but yeah, Corey just had a kiddo, and congrats to him. And so I am kind of in his stead, kind of putting out the good word. I don't know how you really say that, but so anyway, yeah. So I'm Corey's other half of his brain. If Corey has a brain, he can say that. And so yeah. Basically, yeah.
And the two of you run Wicked Dicey or organize Wicked Dicey together, right?
Yeah. So it's not just us.
Yeah.
So we've got kind of a group of delinquent misfits, as y'all do.
True.
True.
Fair.
So kind of the organizers that put a lot of the like heavy work in is Brad Bittler, who you might have met before, and Cam Reed, who plays a lot of Legion and has kind of like fallen off the face of the Age of Sigmar Earth.
No, damn.
I got that poke in. Great. And then as well as a new member of the team, Evan, who like showed up out of nowhere, our first ever winner, when we went from like 35 people to 350 people, and he just kind of stayed with us ever since. So
nice.
So yeah, very like lovely humans, and we all kind of like half-ass figure our way through all of this together.
Yeah.
And really briefly, just to kind of give the like quick shout out ahead of time, is we're for the Masters, we're helped by two people in particular, Gareth, Tom, and as well as Jeff from Texas. So those are kind of like the major people in charge of getting this new concept together that we're really excited about.
Jeff Viscitis, yeah.
Yep.
And
awesome.
So Wicked Dicey is part gaming club, and then you guys also have done content creation and some streaming in the past, as well as the big part of it, which is, as I'm sure the largest part of the workload, is you guys run a lot of events, some awesome well-known ones in Everwinter, and I always forget the name of the other one.
Ironweld,
that's it. Yep. Right. So two big East Coast GTs that are Ridge, you've been to one of them, right?
Yeah, I've been to Everwinter. Boston's like 10 hours away. So yeah, Anthony and I drove the one time, but I remember it was like the worst drive home ever. It was super snowy and like giant blizzard, but yeah, so probably just fly next time. But no, the tournaments are incredible. And yeah, Corey McKinney, I don't even think we've said his last name, but you were saying your kind of partner in crime. He's incredible at running events and that type of stuff. So
yeah, I've been itching to get down for some of the events, but it hasn't lined up for me yet. hopefully in the future. But I will be attending this one that we're going to be talking about tonight. So to get into the main topic at hand, I'll give a brief, uninformed perspective of what the event is, and then Miles, you can correct me and give a little more explanation of everything. But this is the first ever year of having a North American Team Championship event. So it's obviously an Age of Sigmar event. It's a team event, which means it's not just individuals playing for themselves and by themselves, but you have teams of players working against each other. If you've heard us talk about AOS Worlds or anything like that, it's kind of a similar format to that, where you have a team of 8 players. You do pairings against other teams, and then you hope to come out on top at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the team championship. I guess big things about it is it's not just like club teams or anything, but being like a North American championship. You guys went the route of breaking down like kind of North America into regions, and allowed or found people to organize and run or teams to represent each of those regions. So kind of like I guess a more elite kind of competitive focused event of like representing your region, or that kind of thing, as opposed to just random club teams.
Yeah, it's 8 regions, right? That's I think.
Yes, math. 64. Yeah, 64 players, 8 regions. So all over the country, and then as well as Canada. As far as like, I guess the furthest team would be like SoCal, I think, signed up and they're on their way. So yeah.
Yeah, I have
kind of a pretty good summary.
I have the map up right now showing all the different realms. Obviously, Azir is by far the biggest, but 90% of it is unpopulated. So
yes.
Yeah.
It must be said that our British Columbian brethren are actually part of the Pacific Northwest. So Canada is not its own team. It is very close to its own team, but it's all of Canada except British Columbia.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if the teams here comes my delinquency, right? So I don't know if the teams have all been announced yet. And I have the team list. So by the end of this show, I will find that as I kind of click around on the side here, because I've got too much stuff in front of me. But the teams are stacked beyond I mean, it's insane. If you've ever gone to a GT ever and you've seen people place in the top 3, they're likely going to be on the teams coming into this regional event. So yeah, so many amazing folks, and people that are just going to be competing for what we're hoping will become kind of an annual event that maybe floats around North America, and kind of everyone just it's like one big party to kind of just come together and enjoy everyone's company. So
yeah, I know there's even on top of that, just to have fun, because obviously everyone likes to see each other. There's a disc golf, I think, thing on the Friday we're doing, and then there's bowling on the Saturday. Plus, just seems like in general very top end competitive, but also there's still going to be some fun stuff.
Yeah, so that's 100. Well, so I'm not going to take credit for this, but I am. That's the wicked dicey twist. So there's 2 things happening there. Yes, it's going to be fun, and it's also really chill. And what I like to say is competitiveness, surrounded by friends.
Yeah.
And so that's what I want every one of our communities to embody. And so I think one of the taglines was not only are you going to get 4 games, so that's one kind of key thing, is we're not trying to just show up and play 5 games through and just pack up and then fly out. We're gonna have if you've not played a 4-game event, they're amazing. I think I'm a little bit biased here because we also throw another one called the Team Retreat, and which you two should totally go to someday. I think it's
I've heard amazing things. Yeah.
really
I know
amazing.
some people going. Yeah.
We run around in the woods and stuff. So one of the teams got picked by like a basketball game. So anyway, so there's like two things going on there. There's like the AOS community in general, which as we all know is freaking brilliant. And then there's this year is like the Wicked Dicey Twist. And so the Wicked Dicey Twist is like, the five of us kind of like planning shenanigans around it that are lovely and fun, and so one of those is like probably the best game of bowling you've ever had in your damn life will happen at this event, and we're going to spend an outrageous amount of money on it. So things like that, that like, I don't know, it's just like being human and like enjoying our time on this silly earth and playing games as well. So that's kind of where that
it's often the most interesting thing about Warhammer tournaments. I've said a million times is yes, a top end competitive. This is going to be very much, we want to win. You want to do well, but it's all about
everything that surrounds that.
Yeah, and if you go to tournaments and you do well, you're very like minded with the other people that are going to be at Masters and do well and talking about 4th edition and all that stuff. So. Yeah, just super excited. It's going to be great.
The way I described it once is like one of my biggest losses in a game was Bill Souza, and he just let me down so softly. He was just like, he was like giving me compliments as like my entire army was tabled on the other side, and I was just like, this is great.
This is okay. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, there's some other small details I can go into, Jordan, if you want me to.
Yeah, for sure.
Some other things, but yeah, in case anyone was wondering, the teams have already been picked this year, this round. Teams are always created by like the regions themselves, so and their process is specific to that region. And this year, because it's the first one and going from like 0 to 1 is always hard, we identified some captains in each region, and we said, you guys go ahead and pick your top 8, and then we'll kind of go from there. And as this event evolves, we're going to try to iron out that process where it becomes like a lot more, synchronized with like, point systems and things like that. That's not to say that like some regions might just not ever choose that. And in fact, like I'm waiting for the region that like guns for last place and like it's just like we're just bringing the crew along. But the other 7 teams hopefully will be going very competitive. So this year teams already have already been chosen. And then the other thing is we're kind of emulating somewhat Worlds, as I believe I 100% think you've both been to. Am I right?
Yeah.
Ridge?
Oh, Rich hasn't yet.
Rich hasn't yet.
I haven't, but I am announced. I'm actually the captain this year for Team Canada.
Okay.
So
Cool.
we'll be there this year for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, we're kind of like emulating. It's not necessarily like the event because like that's like I think like a 3-day, 4-day kind of event. We're just trying to get kind of like the hype up for like big large teams and like just enjoying each other's company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one little side note that I don't know if you all know this, but Rob's shown up and he's gonna probably stream or at least just hang out. Rob the Honest Wargamer, and so
Incredible.
he'll stop by. We actually like had bought him a ticket for Everwinter, and he ended up not being able to make it, and we had some credit and we were like, oh, like why don't you just hang out with us for Masters? And we saw Jordan, we saw you on the list, and we are like, okay, we're just gonna ship in Rob and do this. So anyway, so
that's fucking incredible. I did not know Rob was gonna be there. I think the last time I saw him was at Everwinter 2 years ago, not last year, the year before. Which amazing. Yeah, he's the best. So
he's so lovely. I have a really embarrassing Rob story, but that's for another day.
Yeah.
But yeah, and what else?
The format, like when you say that, so it is the pack, so it's 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday. So the only difference would be in Worlds, it's 6 games, so 2 games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which was awesome. That I know a lot of things were voted on to be very similar to Worlds, because that's the best kind of format that was voted, obviously. And then you have guys like Gareth Thomas, like you said. Tomo just is the best as well and knows, how to run a tournament and do those types of things. So.
Oh, we lost your voice.
Oh, we lost my voice?
He's back. There you go.
Okay. Somebody told me just to say this off the record. wait, it's going on the record that we respect Gareth. So anyway, I don't know what that is. I've only had amazing interactions with Gareth.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to like plug that. And then I also wanted to plug somebody who's like been putting in like the silly amount of work behind the scene that isn't on our immediate team. And I don't know if you've ever met him, but Ryan M. Muskoff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ryan. Absolutely.
Ryan's TOing. Ryan came out of nowhere and created like the most amazing pack and like
Nice.
literally like put a fire under us because we're lazy and run around in circles. So anyway, Ryan, if you're out there, thanks for doing all the stuff you do for us. But yeah, very, very keen on a good amount of play and things like that. And as well as Matt again, I believe is helping as well.
Yeah,
so
those three.
Pretty elite crew.
Absolutely. And if you want anything judged correctly, you got Madigan there as well, who's incredible. I actually met Ryan and Madigan together. I think last at Everwinter, and then I actually played Ryan at Du Bois last year. Yeah, super.
I went to Du Bois last year. I did all right. I was playing Gits. I've been obsessing over Corn lately. That's
nice.
Like my thing.
They've been fun this edition.
Yeah, no more control. Now they're actually trying to just kill stuff.
They're super. They're still pretty tacky.
Yeah, they do still have some. Yeah,
I've been tabled more games than I can count at this point. Like, I don't know if like destroy is their thing, but anyway, yeah. So that's kind of the gist of it. Can't think of any other. It's basically I have like notes. Here's my notes, right? It's like Corey sitting in the background going like, say the thing.
Say this thing.
Yeah, say this thing. This is very important. Basically, it's in the spirit of the highest level of competition. It's gonna be a ton of fun. It's gonna have. That
wasn't from your paper, was it?
No, I just made that up.
Yes, nice.
You may want to like figure out all your logistics ahead of time because Lord knows we're not good at no. But yeah, so it's for players out there who are just hearing this for the first time too. A lot of the 64 players like we're just like the captains were like, hey, like we've got this great event, come on by. For the ticket, like that includes the hotel, so people will be hanging out all together. The location is at the 4 Points Sheraton, which y'all haven't been to because it's where we host Ironweld.
Yeah.
It's a great location. It's kind of like I would equate it to like a treehouse forest at like hotel kind of thing. Like, and I only say that because like they don't really care what we do. Like they do, so please don't like get drunk, like or something like and like run around naked or something like that. But like they're like there's the person who runs or like the event coordinator is just like the nicest human on earth, and she's always just like just kind of don't put a hole in the wall and you guys are fine. And like and it's this like long like Dwarven fortress like facility that like we can kind of just do our own thing. And so anyway, so another little thing to look forward to. And go ahead, Rich.
I was just saying these events are usually because it's like Worlds, like one of the top end. It's not like, other tournaments like your retreat one where it's more about, doing that type of stuff.
Yeah. So, and actually, so funny story. We were like doing all of our Everwinter stuff this year. And that's when like, let me back up here. We haven't told the origin story of a 3-year long, build-up of tension where Corey and I think Tom and Jeff all wanted to do this concept. They were very intrigued. They were like, we want this concept to happen, and they just like could never get it across the finish line. And I think Corey may or may not have been a little bit more on the like lightheaded side one night, and he kind of just did a kind of rant and rave about us not all having finished this. And basically, we had decided at that point to actually host this event out in the woods. We were going to do it as the fall retreat. But then we kind of, after like almost sealing the deal and like signing pen to, ink to paper, we realized like 8 people flying in from the Pacific Northwest would have to get in a plane, fly over here, rent a car for 8 people, drive an hour and a half to the middle of nowhere, Massachusetts, and then stay in a dorm room with 4 people. And it just was starting to like not work
Yeah.
out. So anyway, we switched gears and we were like, let's make this a really fun event nearby in the Boston area. And yeah, so that's kind of small.
We don't have tournaments like Six Nations and things like that in Europe. They play a lot more teams tournaments.
Yeah.
And if you look at the countries like France and the countries that, they play tons of team tournaments. We have like a couple here in Canada, and then let alone, I know what, there's the American Team Championships. Our boy Jacob Berry runs the one down in Nashville, actually, which is coming up. But it's like we don't have that many team tournaments. So it's amazing that you guys are doing this, and that, over the last couple of years, it's just awesome to have. Because always the regional battles too, right? Like Texas and West and Northwest and all that stuff.
It's always been known that the Northeast is way better than everyone else, and so we're just trying to like prove to everyone that that's the case. And that's always been like a little bit of a question, but not really.
Leave the Midwest alone, but you don't talk about that.
Yeah, and where does Tom Guan fit in all this? No one knows.
He's on 3 different teams at the same time.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, he's gonna like do the chess thing where he plays everywhere. Which actually reminded me of something. If you're in the Boston area and you're not signed up for the tournament, for whatever reason you haven't aced all of your games, you're welcome to stop by and spectate and say hi. Highly encourage that. There's not going to be a ticket at the door, except for if you're staying, obviously, because there will be food provided for players and non-player coaches. But yeah, if you're in the Boston area, come say hi, and all that stuff. We love having everybody. So that's kind of a thing as well.
I was gonna, Jordan, do you have anything that you want to go to, Jordan, or I was gonna say something?
Go for it. Say something.
I was just gonna say, so Corey actually asked me. So I'm the team captain for Azir, which is the North American, the Canadian part, which then randomly I'm the captain of the World's team. So it actually just worked out perfectly that I can kind of use this as practice for, doing this whole operation. So I was just going to say I can speak a little bit to what we are doing, kind of trying to make it objective when you're taking players. And I know I've talked to some people. I think the Pacific Northwest has their own kind of like system that they have a ranking system. The Northeast has kind of a ranking system.
They already have a Masters. A Pacific Northwest Masters, right? So they already have that in place, which makes it easy.
Exactly. And they have like a point system where you get so many points when you go to tournaments, like up in that area. Whereas, so it's like you're saying using like scoring. So it's hard. So up here we use ITC. Obviously everyone uses ITC kind of for rankings. So that just makes it kind of objective, taking your players from, say, Ontario, that are the top Ontario players. So like Jordan and Jake and some of the guys that we have. Now, Quebec is a little bit different in Canada because they don't use ITC as much. So that's kind of one of the spots where you look at people who have won big tournaments or people who have done very well. So I think every kind of region has a system, like the way that they are kind of bringing their teams. And like you said, in future years, this can be something that we can flesh out and have, a bit more of an objective process, and kind of a process and something to work towards for players to be part of the Masters.
So true. Ryan actually, over the course of this year, if you're in the Northeast and you're not bored and you want to find something fascinating, go to, I think it's like 40, or what is it? It's like I should know this because I think I'm like a moderator on the website. I'll send it later or something. But anyway, right. I think it's Neoc Circuit. So there it is. Comes out of nowhere. The neocircuit.com or something like that. I'm sure search on Google. Ryan has a point system there for anybody in the Northeast, and it's scraped from ITC, and so it looks all you can see everybody's name, and it's all in order, and it's only people in New England. So if y'all are ever interested in that, you should hit up Ryan, because he figured out some system to be able to like mathematically and through code do that.
Cool.
So it like highlights the important people. So anyway. And then that also reminds me, for anybody who's interested, watching this later or just in the chat, if you want to find any other information, we do have like the main website, which is in development, is aosmasters.com. And then there's a little bit more information on wickeddicey.com/like AOS Masters or something. It's in the top nav. And so those are like the two information locations right now. If anybody was like very curious, if they're like, I've done all the game stuff, how come I can, when can I join this? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Jordan, you can probably link that, at least the Wicked Dicey one, as well, the video.
Yeah, I'll throw that in the description after. We did pull up, or I'll pull up the rules pack, because as you said, this is on the website. So here, there's obviously more. You have more information. A lot of the stuff we've already shared about the event, team composition, and obviously information about submitting lists and all that stuff. But just to kind of overview the process, if you're not familiar with Worlds, but again, we have 8-player teams, and it's going to be, those teams are going to be matched up against each other. So you're going to have 8 players playing 8 players. Correct me if I'm wrong in any of this, but then there's 4 battle plans each round. So each of them will be repeated twice across that match. But you can see, going through the battle plans, they're already laid out in terms of what battle plans to expect each round. That's part of the exciting thing with pairings, is you're not only trying to pair your armies into good matchups against your opponent's team's armies, but you also have to consider the battle plans, which can always have a big effect as well. And that's
massive, and that was one of the things that is amazing about this, is it is very similar to, it is the same as Worlds for that, which is the best way.
Exactly.
So the first game on Saturday will be 4 different battle plans, so 2 players at each. Then the second game will be another 4 different battle plans, 2 players each. So that's your 2 games for each player. Mm-hmm. And the next day, Sunday, will be 4 of the last 4 battle plans that haven't been played of the 12 between the 8 players, so 4 each. Mm-hmm. And then the very last 4 are 1, 2, 3, 4 are repeats from the first 12, essentially. So 4 battle plans will be played twice, and then the other once of the other 12, if that makes sense to people.
And like you said, I think it's very, I'm very happy to see like it use a similar system to Worlds. Again, get that standardized, get people familiar with that, better than every team event being quite different, obviously. That's always good to see. But yeah, what else? Just going through it. There, you can learn about the pairing system and how that all works if you want to, or you're curious about any of that stuff. And obviously the map.
Teams is the funnest way to play Warhammer. So if you're interested, if you like playing just RTT, and you really like playing the GT, you will love playing teams, because it's so much more fun when you're actually helping your teams and you want to see them scrape 5, 6 points, those types of things. It's just so fun.
And I think one of the best things about it too is like it takes out a lot of the like kind of annoyances that you can run into in singles of like, oh, I ran into a bad mashup, or oh, this mission was really bad for me. Like those situations can still happen, but when you're playing for the team, it's such a different element, right? It's like, okay, I might have to get paired into this bad matchup or whatnot, but it's still about maximizing the points in there for the team, because, you could be, in the worst matchup on the worst mission, but it's up to you to, win the round for your team by losing by as less, the least amount possible. So like those elements are really cool, where it's like, there's a deeper game to it. It's not just the surface level situation of your game, but obviously all 8 of the matches each round are very important for your team's success.
Every point.
Yeah. So that's all really cool and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll speak from experience here. I was a big non-believer in teams. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, why are we because this was as we were like pressing the button to throw our first teams event, and I was like, I don't know how we're ever going to get a single human to this. Why would you ever do this? I came out of that event and I was like, this is it. I don't even want to play singles anymore. This is no fun. Yeah. And I have like multiple like teams, like things that I like curate because of that. And they're just, I don't know. It's the most I've learned like on how to play. Like I've learned how to play better, way better because of my team. And they're like, it's that one thing that you never quite get with like singles, where you're kind of just like in this echo room where you're like, is my list very good? And you're like, well, no one really is following you. But then if you have teams and you have people checking in on you, you're like, oh, okay, now I can do a little bit better and have somebody to like celebrate my victories, as well as like if I lose, they're like, oh, well, maybe consider this. So
and usually a coach as well, which most teams will have one coach who exactly knows all your players, knows all your lists, knows what you should be getting, and helps between and in rounds.
Ridge, other than the Northeast team, are you afraid of any other teams coming into this?
I'm afraid of a bunch of teams. Yeah, the Pacific Northwest, obviously the South, the guys in Texas, the Southeast, like Fabian and Noah and those guys, like Jacob's team, all of them. Honestly, the Midwest, I don't know.
All stars.
Don't know them as well. I guess Bart and Nick, I think, are running a team there. But it's like, man, like you said at the beginning, it's all the top guys that you see in tournaments. You're like, okay, I'm going to play these guys on Sunday, game 4, game 5. It's going to be a hard game. It's going to be that game almost every game. Well, it pretty much is. But it's I can't pick one out of all of them. But I'm most excited to play Pacific Northwest, so we can play some of our Team Canada guys, hopefully. That'll be a funny little rivalry.
Yeah, and I think a fun, exciting element too this year in particular is also are pretty wild right now with the meta of exploring fourth. Still, we're still very early in the edition. People are starting to there's starting to be some trends, but there's still a lot of stuff that's unexplored, especially in kind of a team setting where you can be a little more off the wall at times. So it's going to be really interesting to see what all the different teams come up with for lists.
Actually, so this reminds me, sorry if we're this is a little late, but I found the teams list if you're interested in that at all. So can I share my screen, Jordan? I don't know if that's like plausible.
Can you send me a link? It's probably easier.
Yeah, let me send you a link. 2 seconds.
We did have one player switch on ours. I don't know if Corey has that up yet, but yeah.
Okay, and forgive, this is like a total not perfect document, but let me try to adjust it for the audience here. We'll come back later. We'll have a little pretty. I'll do a PDF of this at some point. But yeah, Google Sheets is not my.
Did Corey say to share this? Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I don't even know who are on the other teams. I don't think it matters, but.
Well, I have to. I requested access.
Okay. Wait, actually, let's talk about this out loud. Should you guys know? Everyone should know at this point, right? Well, we're wicked dicey. We screw things up, so we're just gonna do that. All right, cool. Copy-link.
Well, this is officially public for everyone now.
Blame Miles.
This is officially a leak. I'm going rogue. But we should also email this out as quickly as possible to everybody. I'll put it in the chat tonight. We like to break rules every year. Okay,
so this is official rosters. Just pulling them up now for the different regional teams.
Sure. Official rosters / also probably some changes here and there. So so anyway, Northeast, we've got a couple of little I'll just do the standouts. I mean, they're all standouts, but Anthony Lawrence, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that character. He's all right. Mid-Atlantic, I just want to see Mike Vaginos again and James O'Brien. I don't even care if they play. I just want to say hi. Midwest, we've got I feel like I've seen Joe Cryer's name a million bazillion times. I don't know if I've ever met Joe Cryer. I'm sure y'all know Joe Cryer.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, yeah, Joe.
Michael Rausch.
You got to find me.
Swaggy.
He's a legend.
Yeah. Chris Hernandez. I've seen his name at the top tables 1,000
West
times.
Coast.
Gavin.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty okay. Noah Nice to see you, Noah. Yeah, Matt Beasley. They're all here. It's brilliant. It's amazing. It's gonna be really great to see everybody. And yeah, so you just got leaked data. It's great.
Yes, so you heard it here first.
We're gonna have to cut this from the stream.
No,
That's
don't
fine.
cut it. Don't cut it. Let it out there.
Cut that.
This is
It's posted where I said I shouldn't put this out.
I didn't get a message from Corey, and I just chatted with him a minute ago, so I think we're okay.
nice. Well, yeah, that's super exciting. Like you said, star-studded teams across North America coming together. So it'll be a highly contested event, but also a ton of fun to get all these players together.
Sweet. Yeah, can't wait to see everybody. And thanks again for letting us shout this out and kind of having me on. Corey wishes he could be here, but he's like probably covered in vomit at this time.
Yeah.
And kid like 1 week old kid stuff.
Yeah,
so,
we know all about that.
Yeah, we
Yes.
did it. But yeah, no, happy to be able to do it and to learn a little more. Obviously, Ridge and I are super excited for this. Our team's super excited. We're talking every day and trying to put a plan together.
Yeah, we got somewhat of a plan. Who knows with this edition and if there's going to be an FAQ and all that stuff and what's happening. So everyone's
I feel
just like
y'all would be more privy to it than the majority of us.
Hey,
But-
sometimes, yeah, surprisingly not that we don't get a lot of advance warning for some
not the
stuff.
battle scrolls and FAQs and stuff. No.
Interesting. I thought that maybe you had like some insider stuff there, but
Yeah.
I'm going to Nova and I'm like really hoping literally something drop. Like just what, like 5 rules that like don't make like 3 or 4 armies that I've played so far like absolutely absurd. Like
Yeah.
like I sat across from Night Haunt and I was like, no, what is this? This is not real. This is not the same game.
Yeah, pretty wild.
So
Yeah.
anyway.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think that was pretty much covered everything. I think, obviously, if you do want more information, you can check out aosmasters.com for more info, as well as wickeddaisy.com/aosmasters. So you can go find more info there. And other than that, I think the only thing I need to say is to tell Bart that he's going to get smashed if he gets paired up against our team.
Chat?
Of course he did. We
Bart's
love
wargaming.
Yeah, we love Bart though. Hopefully it would be awesome to play against him and all the legends on their team as well. But we can't wait. We're looking forward to it. Definitely stay tuned. Hopefully we get some good coverage if Rob's able to do some coverage when he's out there as well. Maybe we can try and do some recaps and whatnot throughout the event or some put out some updates as well. But yeah, guys, thanks for chatting tonight. Can't wait to see you all in person. Ridge, I saw you earlier today, but we'll see you again soon. And anyways, I guess with that, we can say have a good night and look forward to the event.
Sweet.
Right.
Good chatting with you, Miles.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night, everyone. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you soon.